10 shocking secrets about fast food. 10. You might as well drink from the toilet. In 2012, 12-year-old Jasmine Roberts from Florida conducted an experiment as part of her entry for a regional science fair. She visited 5 fast food restaurants and ordered cups of ice, which she put in sterile beakers. She then collected samples of water from the restaurant's toilets and tested how much bacteria was in each sample. Her disturbing discovery? 70% of the time, the ice from the fast food restaurants contain more bacteria than the toilet water. This is because the toilets are cleaned on a more regular basis, while the ice machines are notoriously difficult to clean. 9. Do you want mice with that? The last thing you would expect when you order a McDonald's salad is to find a dead rodent amongst the lettuce leaves. But for one unfortunate Dallas customer, that's exactly what happened. The woman took the fast food giant to court after she found a 15cm long dead rat in her salad, suing them for up to $1.7 million in damages. Worryingly, this isn't an isolated example. This kind of thing happens in fast food restaurants with alarming regularity. In 2009, a 7-year-old girl found a nasty surprise in her McDonald's Happy Meal when she discovered an unwrapped condom in her packet of fries. Another disgusting discovery was made by one man at KFC in Essex, England. He found what looked like a lump of brain attached to a piece of chicken. It turned out to be a chicken kidney, which isn't really that much better. 8. Merck obesity. It's no secret that a fast food meal won't be approved by a nutritionist, but the full extent of how unhealthy certain items can be is really mind-blowing. For example, KFC's chicken pot pie is one of the most single unhealthy items on any fast food menu, containing 185% of your recommended daily allowance of saturated fat and 82% of a day's worth of sodium. But even the healthy-sounding fast food items aren't all that good for you. The McDonald's Southwest Crispy Chicken Salad actually contains 480 calories with 24 grams of fat, which is surprisingly more than the calories and fat in a Bacon McDouble cheeseburger. 7. The vegetarian option. In 2002, it emerged that McDonald's had not been entirely honest when they advertised their French fries and hash browns as vegetarian-friendly. The French fry, the most popular item on McDonald's menu, contains a staggering total of 19 separate ingredients. Amongst these ingredients was a vegetable oil that contained essence of beef for flavouring purposes. Understandably, this angered many vegetarians and those unable to consume meat for religious reasons. McDonald's has since assured customers that its recipe has changed and the potato treats are now suitable for all. However, there's still a few questionable animal-based products lurking on the McDonald's menu. The apple pie contains L-cysteine, an amino acid used to make dough more malleable and suitable for machine processing. Research by the Vegetarian Resource Group found that 80% of L-cysteine in the USA derived from duck feathers. Tasty. 6. Robo-workers. A study by Fast Food Forward revealed that in April 2013, 84% of fast food workers in New York were being paid less than the American minimum wage. A group of McDonald's workers, calling themselves the 5 for 15 campaigners because they're fighting for $15 an hour wages, argue that the conditions they work in are extremely hazardous. Due to understaffing and pressure to serve food incredibly quickly, burns and other accidents are worryingly commonplace. And part of the problem is that the companies have little incentive to improve life for their workers, as automated systems are starting to replace employees anyway. Former McDonald's USA CEO Ed Rensi argued that it's cheaper to buy a $35,000 robotic arm than hire an employee for 2 years. Automated order kiosks are already becoming the norm in numerous fast food outlets across the world, with one McDonald's in Phoenix run entirely by robots already. It's highly likely that the number of human workers will be drastically cut over the next 20 years. 5. Trash talk. Fast food outlets are among the most wasteful businesses in the world. A 2005 study by the University of Arizona found that while regular restaurants discard 3.1% of the total food they use, the average fast food chain throws out 3 times that much. This equates to around 38.5 million kilograms every single day, which is about the same as 53,000 cows. The Billion Dollar Chicken Shop, a BBC documentary into the fast food industry in the UK, found that individual branches of KFC were wasting 3,000 kilos of food every single year. One KFC manager from Glasgow even said that homeless people regularly scavenge for this thrown away excess from the bins outside the restaurants, which sadly can be extremely dangerous, not to mention illegal. 4. Genetically modified food. Due to their highly controversial nature, many consumers would be shocked to hear that some fast food chains readily use genetically modified organisms in their food. The cultivation of such foods is so controversial that it's actually banned in 38 countries, including France and Germany. In 2015, it emerged that Taco Bell's famous shells were made using genetically modified corn, and they were forced to change their recipe following a public backlash. McDonald's also uses GMOs in menu items containing ingredients derived from corn, soy and canola, despite pressure from the anti-GMO group Food and Water Watch. The executive director of this group, Winona Houter, wrote to the CEO of McDonald's arguing that more research needs to be done into the long-term effects of GMOs on human health. She argues that altering the plant's genes could have potentially unforeseen consequences, such as increasing immune system disorders, food allergies and digestive problems. But scientific thought is split on whether this would actually be the case. 3. Yoga mat sandwich. The thought of what actually goes into fast food is really quite stomach-churning. First of all, there's the meat itself, which is pumped full of harsh chemicals in order to kill off E. coli and other organisms that can cause illness. McDonald's was famously outed in 2015 for using ammonium hydroxide, a common household cleaner, to treat its beef. While the Food and Drug Administration have classified the use of this chemical as safe, it has to be very carefully regulated, and food using it needs to be explicitly labelled. However, the New York State Department of Health said that this wasn't always happening with McDonald's, Burger King and Taco Bell, meaning you don't always know if there are legal quantities of chemicals in your foods. Furthermore, Subway in the USA used to add a worrying substance to their sandwich bread called azodicarbonamide, which is a dough conditioner that allows them to produce bread faster. It is also used to create yoga mats. Yummy. Kentucky Fried Cruelty. One of the biggest controversies surrounding the fast food industry is how badly the meat suppliers treat the animals they rear. PETA, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, has been putting pressure on KFC, saying that the company has animal welfare standards that are simply unacceptable. In 2001, the Animal Rights Group launched its Kentucky Fried Cruelty campaign to raise awareness of the chain forcing chickens to grow rapidly in terrible, cramped and unhygienic conditions. They are then killed in crude and ineffective methods, such as electric stunning and throat slitting, after an average lifespan of just 35 days. And it's not just KFC that's been accused of treating its animals so inhumanely. A 2015 undercover investigation into a McDonald's Chicken McNugget supplier exposed horrific animal cruelty. Hidden camera footage showed birds being beaten, crammed into tiny spaces, and even hit with nails attached to makeshift clubs. Both KFC and McDonald's have released statements saying they intend to investigate specific instances of animal abuse and are looking into ways of making their production processes more ethical. 1. E. coli risk. According to journalist Eric Schlosser, a typical fast food beef burger does not contain meat from just one cow because the meat is mixed in large batches from a dozen or even hundreds of different cattle. This is highly problematic as it increases the chance of contaminated meat spreading further. It means that there is a much greater risk of deadly pathogens such as E. coli being passed down the food chain. E. coli is already a major problem facing the fast food industry. In 1993, a devastating E. coli outbreak was attributed to the fast food chain Jack in the Box. In total, 732 people were infected, 4 children died, and 178 other victims ended up with permanent injuries, including kidney and brain damage. And if you think things have improved since then, think again. As of December 2015, there have been 53 cases of E. coli and 20 hospitalizations linked to food from Chipotle, Mexican grill restaurants in 9 different states.